Oh, I've got 2 people watching me. Just trying to get sorted out on my desk how things are going. Can people give me a thumbs up if they can hear me and see me okay? Better turn my sound down on my iPad. I'm a few minutes early so that I can get everything set up. And you will have to excuse me because I am slightly nervous. Yo, thumbs up. Hopefully I've got this playing on my iPad at the same time and I can't see too much glare from my light or anything. Hi Hazel. The dog's barking at me from outside because he thinks I'm talking to somebody and somebody's in here and he's missing out. He thought I was mad this morning because I was having a practice run and he thought I was going slightly mad because I was talking to myself. Lovely to meet you too, Leslie. Oh, Kim, hi. Hi, Belinda. Thank you. Got a few more joining us. I'll wait a little bit longer just for a few more to join up because I am just a little bit early. Sneaky watch from work. You're at work, are you, Kim? Morning, Catherine. Have all of you been watching the one-day special and the 14th birthday celebrations from Pink Frog on Create and Craft? I know I've got a couple to catch up with because I haven't been able to watch them live. Hi, Christine. Right, we'll get going in a minute. Don't forget that Hazel is on at 2 o'clock this afternoon. For those of you that were watching Create and Craft, you will have seen that she's got a new stamp storage. So she'll be demoing that at 2 o'clock this afternoon on this page. Hi, Julie. The storage, as you'll remember, her original storage was in, let me just bring it in the shape of a book, and you'd got all of the pages with them in. I haven't had a chance to make one of the new storage solutions, but basically what it was you had 2 openings either side, and the individual ones just slotted into the storage either side. So make sure you don't miss that at 2 o'clock. And Hazel will be demoing. Just bring this in so you can see what we'll be doing. Now this one I made for a friend's 50th birthday. It's her birthday tomorrow, so luckily I could hang on to it. I didn't have to ask for it back. And she's not a girly girl, So I had a look through Hazel's papers and found like the purple and the black and thought that was absolutely ideal for no florals or anything. But you can add any design that you want onto it. I mean, obviously I've added the 50s and the 50 here, but you can do absolutely anything that you want with it. I have made a couple of different ones. I'll just show you those quickly. I've got somebody having a baby coming up soon, so I've made this one for them, and I've used acetate here just to hang the clothes on there, and it nicely folds flat, and it's 20 by 20, so I know it's outside of the normal postage because I think that's 16 centimetres. But it would go as a large letter, and unless you don't put anything really weighty on it, it's not heavy either. So that's ideal that it can fold out, and then you can fold it flat. Another one that I've done is this one, and I've just added cut out stars from Hazel's dies. And stuck those on, so you can do absolutely anything. The papers are so adaptable to any celebration, and at the moment I believe that the papers are on sale at Dragons Papercraft. So if you want to pop along to Hazel's website, you can have a look. £8.99 for the pack of paper, or 2 for £15. Let me just get mine out, and then I can show you the array of colours. So the outside just gives you the details of all the colours, and you can see that they've nicely been paired together. This is the ones that I use for my original card, but as you can see, as we flick through them, there's some gorgeous colours, and I just can't leave them alone. So yeah, pop along there and grab yourself a pack, and you can play along with this. Right, to start off with, I'll show you the size of the cards. So I've done some true Blue Peter style, and I've got some ready in advance. So you need the layered pieces. So the back of the card is 20 by 20, and you want one of each of these pieces. The next one is 20 by 15, next one 20 by 10, and the next one is 20 by 6. So later on we will cut slopes in these to make the slopes here. So I'll show you that a little bit later. Put those to one side. Next we need the pillar pieces. So these are going to form the pillars at the side of your card. And the sizes that you'll need for those, and you'll need 2 of each of these sizes, is 12 by 10, 12 by 15, and 12 by 20. Obviously you could watch this video back once the live has finished, and you can see and you can pause and you can get the sizes, or if you want them you could always message me and I can let you know. Hopefully I'm not going too fast for any of you. Right, we're going to work on these pillar pieces first. So if we take our scoreboard, make sure I'm still in shot for this one, wait for my iPad to catch up. Right, so the pieces, the pillar pieces, what we're going to do is score all of them with the same measurements. So on all of them you want the 12 centimetre side at the top. Just having a slurp of my juice. And you want to score them at 2.5, 5, 7.5 and 10. which means that the gaps are all 2.5, apart from the one at the end, which is 2 centimetres, which is used, as you can see from this next one, is where we add the glue and stick it together, because obviously if it was the same size, potentially it would get in the way when you're trying to put them together. And also what I found was I was always checking where I needed to place my pattern pieces of paper. Again, referring to the original, you've got 3 sides that need the pattern paper on. Obviously the one that joins at the back, you don't need to decorate, and we never want to waste our precious papers, do we? So I just put a cross on the 3 in the middle, so that once I've formed the cubes together, I know exactly where to put my papers. So what I'll do is I'll just add the glue to this one. Now, I'd recommend using glue because it's got a little bit of wiggle room in it. If you put your double-sided tape on, then if you do get it in the wrong place, sometimes you can rip the card. So what I'll do here, and I'm just using one of the fine tip applicators, is to put that on there and then fold, so not the glue one, the next one, fold there and fold the remaining flap over. So if you do it flat like this, you'll definitely get the right shape. Whereas if you do it in the air and freehand, sometimes it doesn't form the perfect cube. So if you fold it flat like that and fold the flap onto the glue, you will get the perfect flat shape. Okay, so there we've got our first one. Let me move my school board out of the way. Hoping it doesn't fall on the floor and clatter. Right, so let's bring these in. So I've done these so you can see when they're all put together. Remember, you had 3 different sizes for these. That one was the 12 by 10. That one was the 12 by 15. And that was the 12 by 20. So they're all folded up, and you could see that I've decorated these. So let's carry on and I'll show you how, I'll just turn them over so you can see how they've been decorated. Now Kim will know, because she comes to my workshops, that we love a masterboard. I don't know whether anybody's come across masterboards or know what masterboards are, but we love a masterboard. So that's what we're going to create to cut the pieces, because it is quite easy to decorate a big piece, but when it comes to decorating a little piece like this, you don't know how to lay it out. So if you decorate a big piece, let me bring this in. If you decorate a big piece, you can then cut it up, and you never know when you cut it up what shapes you're going to get where on your piece of work. So this is one that I've done before, and let me just dry the top of my glue so that it doesn't dry out. This is one that I've done before, and I've actually cut it up to make it easier for everybody watching and not watching me cutting with the guillotine. So we'll go on to the other side, and what I've used for this, again, space saving, is I've used one complete piece of paper and then another one in the same style, but just cut it to 7.5 centimetres. And then what I've done on the back is you would just use repositionable tape to hold it on, and then the other piece of paper you've got to use for something else. Okay, so we'll put that to one side and then we'll get back to decorating this piece. Now, as you know, Hazel recently bought out, let me put it on, oh no, that's not white paper. Let me find a piece of white paper. There we go, you can see it a bit better on this one. Recently bought out some new stamps to go with her original collection, all about the boys and all about the girls. So these are the ones that we're using this time, as all the little ones, they really go well on masterboards. So let's get going. I've chosen a couple of inks here, and I'm using Gathered Twigs, Pine Needles, Ground Espresso and Ice Spruce. And all we're going to do is take individual stamps. So this one is just says happy birthday. We're going to mix the two sets together, so not stay with the boys or the girls, because I think they really mix well together. So we'll start with this one, and I say randomly, but it's as random as you want it to be. I normally start off and do a little bit of a pattern with them, so you've got something to work round. So remember, we're going to cut this out into the strips after we've finished stamping it. And this will be carried through to the sheets that we're going to use for the layers as well. So carry on stamping here. And I'm not using a platform for this because you would just be changing it too much, and it really doesn't matter if the stamping isn't perfect, because like I say, we're going to chop into it and you're not really going to see it that much. Right, we'll just finish stamping these happy birthdays. Hopefully everybody's keeping up with me. Is anybody crafting along with me? Or are you just watching it and going to have a go afterwards? Hi Sue. Oh, thank you. I'm so nervous, but I've got into it now. So I'm okay. Right, so that was a random for you, Sue, because I know you don't do random, do you? So it was random with a pattern. Let's wipe up the surface there. Now you can choose any of the stamps from the sets. So let's choose, we've got this one here with circles and stars. So we'll have a go with that one now. So choose colours that go with them. This time I'm going to go for a green. So stamp this one up, and again, just randomly stamp them in between. You can stamp them off the papers because we're going to, like I said, we're going to cut them up later. You could use your permanent inks for these or your distress inks. I've just chosen to use oxides. Right, let's take another one of the shapes. put the lid on that one. Put that one over to one side. Let's give that a quick wipe. Let's wipe this stamp while we're at it and put it back on the carrier sheet. Right, this time there's some stars on this one, so we're going to use some of the stars. Obviously at the end, if you decide, like on my original, what I've done is I've die cut some of the star shapes from the dies and cut them out and stuck them on here, but you can do that afterwards and as you go along, and added some glosses, but that comes at the end when you've finished it all, and you can add as many embellishments on. So we're going to go with the star, with the large star. I've not been drinking, honest. And this one is ground espresso. So again, randomly you can go over the top of the writing. Has anybody done masterboards before? There we go. Right, that's it for that one. Let's give that one a wipe and put it back on the sheet. Now another lovely one and a real space filler is the one with the lines that's on here. And again, you can just do that randomly across there. I think we'll go with the lighter brown again this time, which is Gathered Twigs. And you can again go across what you've already done. And randomly stamp. I was just about to put my ink pad down on there then. Yeah, it is a great idea, Catherine. It just, if you haven't got inspiration, if you make one of these and you can, if you don't want to be really choosy, you can turn it over, just imagine that this was blank, and just cut a shape. Otherwise, sometimes you just look at it and you think, I want that bit, or I want that bit, and you end up wasting the whole thing. Sometimes you can have layouts so that you draw it on an A4 piece of paper and then transfer it to here, and then when you turn it over, you'd be surprised all the little pieces look so different. So we'll just carry on with this stamping. Give them a go and Google them and watch some YouTubes. They're really good to give you some inspiration. Right. I think we'll go off the page a bit here. But one thing I would say is when you're doing masterboards is not to, say with the line stamp, don't do it diagonally, because you want to keep, I don't know what it is, it distorts the eye, it takes the concentration off your piece of work. I mean, try it and see what you think. You might actually like it. And I know, especially one of my ladies, Vanessa, she's a master at masterboards, and she says to add light and dark into it. I've not done that on here, but going back to my original, you'll see that we've added light afterwards. And also on the back piece, I've done some embossing with white powder, which just, you've got the dark to pull you in and the light to pull it up. So we will do that on the layered pieces when we get to them. Right, I think we'll finish that there and have a quick wipe up. Right, so what I've done for you is I've done a layout to cut them out. And if we go back to the original pieces, I'll bring one of each size in. On the large piece, this will be the back, bring it into shot. This will be the back, so the two side pieces need full one, and the top, when that goes on there, you just need a little bit. So you don't need to put it all the way down, because obviously you won't see that piece. So you might as well save that for something else. And the same with this one. You need both sides doing, but the top one, this piece is going to go on top of it. So you only need the little piece. But the front one, you're going to need full length on all three sides. Hopefully that makes sense. And that is exactly the same the other side. Let me bring the original in to show you. So all the sides are done. The insides are done. This has been done down to there, that to there, and this one full length. So what we've got here are the 4 full length ones, which are the sides of the larger one. The 4 for the medium one. As you can see, I've got one of my crosses there. You're not going to see this because it's going to be covered up. The ones at the bottom that are 5 centimetres are these little pieces at the top there. So as you can see, that's using that whole sheet. And then the next sheet is the pieces for the smaller one. Okay, so you can do a screenshot of that so that you've got all of your measurements and you can refer back to that. So what we're going to do now, as if by magic, they're all going to come apart, look. Take my repositionable tape off the back. And I think we'll do the green one that I'd done earlier because I think that's the colourway that I've prepared. The repositionable tape is a Scotch tape, and you can buy that. I'm not sure if Hazel's got that on her website or not. I'm sure she will let us know if she's got that. So all of the pieces here now, let's put that one the right way, will be fitting on to the pillar pieces. And as you can see, I've already done that to save time. Okay, so we'll put those to one side. And we've got the pillar pieces to one side. So now we'll go on to, let me just have a slurp of my drink because I can feel I'm going to cough. Sorry about that. Has anybody gone to sleep yet? I've not sent anybody to sleep, have I? Right, let's put the colours off to one side. Right, so we need to shape, we need to form the hills and valleys, I guess you call them. So we'd got, let me just get all, so you've got the back piece, which was 20 by 20. The next size, which was, I think it was the 20 by 15, you're going to cut a slope in, and I've done mine from the left hand side. The next piece, which was the 20 by 10, I've done the slope from this side, and the piece which is going to be at the front was cut from the 20 by 6. Now all I've done is freehand drawn those and then used the edges of them to cut the pattern paper. So you put the slopes on the pattern paper, just remember that they're going to go opposite ways. So if you were doing it that way, just make sure that all of the lines are going in the right direction, because you don't want to go and do one that way and then, I know you can't out of this piece, and do one that way, because on that one the lines will go sideways, that one the lines will go up and down. So from one piece of paper, of the pattern paper, I've got the larger slope and the smaller slope onto one piece, and then on a separate sheet I've got that cut out there. Now you do have options with this. With, let me just put those in there. So with this one, I've done the papers right up to the edge of the slope. But with the original that I did, the pattern papers, you've got a white space at the edge of it. Now to create that white space, what you can do to shape the pattern pieces is take the piece itself, just bring it down slightly, and because you've used the pattern piece to cut your shape, you can then just drag it down and you've got the shape of the card and the shape of the paper exactly the same. So all I've done is taken, let me just get a piece of card again. So all I've done is taken my shape piece, put it on the edge there, and because we're going to get a little space, drag it down past the bottom. So the piece, let me pull this down, pull this up. So the piece there will be the gap that you've got at the top of the paper. Okay? So what you've got there is it lines up with the bottom of the card, but then that side, because we've put it up that tiny little bit, you've got the gap at the top, and we'll cut that out. Are you keeping up with me? Right, so now decoration. So we're going to take the 20 by 20 piece of card, as this is going to be the back of the card, and we're going to decorate it. Now I've taken the stencil from the new pack, and you can see I've been playing. I was trying to find out a colour to go with it, and I did it on this piece, so just ignore that. We're going to take a blending brush, and I'm going to use ice spruce this time because I want it to be quite subtle in the background. So load your brush up, tap a little bit off so that it's not too heavy. You can tape your stencil in place, but just very gently go over the top. Add in your colour. And you can check underneath, you can just about see it, but and just keep checking underneath. And when you move your stencil, because you've got a slight gap, it doesn't really matter about matching it up because you're going to be putting things over the top of it. So just as you can see there, you can't see where one piece ends and the next piece starts. So don't be too hung up on trying to match it. Oops, that moved slightly. and then we just move that one down and just place it on there. As you can see, you don't have to be that exact. You can go in and dry that if that's what you want to do. Let me just put that one to one side. I'm going to have a bit of a wipe up before we do the next piece. Right, so with my original one, I used, excuse me, let's clean this one so that I can have my block. Got a tickle. Right, so we're going to use the fern stamp as we have in the original here, just to create a shadow behind the die cut. So we'll go ahead and do that. So you want to use a darker colour for this one, and it depends how dark you want to go. Now, do we go for the ground espresso or the gathered twigs? If you're not sure, just stamp it off onto a piece of paper and check which one you want to use on the piece of paper that we used before. There we go. So we can stamp the ground espresso. Give that one a wipe. And stamp the gathered twigs. And then compare it. Which one do you want to go with? I think the lighter one. So we'll go with that one. Oh dear. You can imagine what this has been like with my cough through COVID, can't you? Explaining to everyone, no, I'm safe. Right, so randomly I know you're not going to see the bottom one, but you might just see part of it if you look in the card. So let's bring it back into shot. So I'm decorating that one as well. So what we're going to do with this one is I've already die cut some of the ferns out using the smaller of the fern dies. I've not used the outside, I've just used the inside of that, but again I've cut them out already to save you watch me doing that. And this will be the back of our card, which I've just cut. I think I've cut this down to about 15 because again, saving paper, you're going to have these on the outside so you wouldn't see what's underneath it. So again, saving paper. So we'll carry on and decorate this one a little bit more. So we can take some of our shaped, smaller shapes that we used for the masterboard and stamp some of these in place. Now I'm not going to heat emboss on this because my ink is really wet, so you really need to let your ink dry or blot it really well so that your embossing powder doesn't stick to it. But even when it is completely dry, I'd suggest that you wipe it with an anti-static bag to take the grease that comes off from your fingers onto here, because the embossing powder will stick to those. You can use a little paintbrush to take it off, but you'll find that all the ink that is wet, it will stick to that as well. So, right, what should we do next? Wipe this stamp and take this off, and we'll go for the star again, and we'll use the darker one this time. Where should we go? In there. Sometimes it's better to go that little bit quicker because it stops you thinking about it. Right, I think that's all I'm going to do on this one. So I'll stick my die cuts in place. This is all easier to do whilst you've got it separate. And what I've done with this is the alternating paper that I'm using for this one. I can put it to one side. Where have I put it? The alternating paper that I'm using for this one is the colour that I've cut the die cuts out of. And then, so I've done them alternating colours. So I've gone really different on this one because I've got 3 different colours, whereas the others I've only done 2. So all I'm going to do with this is add the glue, and I forgot to put the lid on this one. Oh, it's not going to work now. Like Hazel says, put your lid on, because otherwise it will block up. And that's exactly what it's done, is block up. Hey ho. I'll go back to the old-fashioned method, putting it on my hand. And stamp it on your hand, put the die cut, I'm just mainly doing down the middle, and glue it on. And again, and glue that on. Right, now we can stick that to the back of the card there. Oh, doing really well with this, aren't I? Let's go to the big bottle. Now what I've done with this as well is I've just made it so that there's a slight border at the top and at the bottom. So just cut 2 mil off each side. You don't have to, it's personal preference, but I think something with a border just sets it out nicely. So what we're going to do now is we're going to add the first of the pillars and assemble the card. It would be so much easier with the smaller applicator. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold that, and that's the piece that we're going to stick down, and I'm going to hold it up to show you the edge against the edge of the base so that you get it lined up. If you want to, what you can do is hold it in position with some clips so you don't have to hold it, and you can get on and do the next side. So we'll have a go at the next side. There we go. Let's give that a smoosh. And again, make sure you've got it the right way up with the glue outwards, and line it up again with the edge of the card. And again, if you want to, hold it in place. Now, just leave those for a few seconds. The Pink Frog EVA is really quick to grab, so you don't need to leave it in place for too long. Just a couple of seconds. I just like to belt and braces, just make sure that it's in place and you don't waste time holding it there. Right, now we need to add the first layer. Now for this, to add this, it's easier to fold your pillows, that's what you sleep on, pillars, flat, and you can see it's the width of the card. So to avoid the layer showing out of the join, I cut mine just a little bit short, because otherwise you're going to have colour popping out here. So all I do is just freehand chop a little bit off the side, and then you'll see that it's just that little bit shorter. And what we're going to be sticking it to is these white pieces here. So obviously now we need to know where we're going to stick them. So we just need to make a couple of pencil marks. So you can see here where it joins. Just hold your finger and put a pencil mark. And again, the other side, just hold it and put a pencil mark. And then what we can do is we can add our glue and give this one a quick rub in. And we're not going to go past where we don't want the glue. So lining it up with the bottom of the card, and then just hold it in place just for a few seconds, and there you go, there's our first layer. So we'll continue with the next layer. Oop, send it shooting over the desk. Right, fold it flat, fold that flat, bottom of that one level with the bottom of the card, and with the wet glue you can wiggle that into position. Just hold it for a few seconds, and the same with the other side. So make sure that it's the right way up. We're going over onto the other side. So we've got the white piece at the bottom, which we know is the base. And you've got the wiggle room of the glue. So putting that into place, and it's level there and level with the base of the card. Oh, just move slightly. So there we've got our second layer. So we'll continue like we did before. Remember, we took some off the end, so we'll do that again with this one. Chop a little bit off the edge, and again fold it over to one side, place it in the middle, And remember, we're adding the glue to the pieces that go over the white. So again, mark with your fingers where you're going to be adding it. And again, mark with your fingers where you're going to be adding it. And then when you turn it over, add the glue. A bit much. Wipe that off. Then line it up with the bottom of the card. You can stand it up to make sure that you've got it level with the bottom of the card, but I think you can do that. Right, so we've got that layer, we're getting there, and now we want the last of the pillows. Said it again, didn't I? Pillows, pillars. Again, making sure you got it the right way up. Oh, that wasn't quite dry. Let's just hold that in place a little bit longer. So, lining it up on the edge there. Yep, that's right. I had a feeling then I'd done it wrong. Again, right way up, edge of the card, lining it up with the side and the bottom, and hold it in place. Right, now the front layer is a bit different, and we don't want to cut any of the sides off this one, because this one is actually going to fit the whole way across. And I'll just finish cutting this, and I'll stick this on so that I can show you exactly how it goes. Bear with me. And we can add some glue to the back of the paper. Obviously with your precision tips you can be a bit more precise, but I left the top off mine, so silly mistake. Right, so lining that up. Smooth it down. And then you can cut any excess off the side of it. I think the papers are just slightly wider than 20 centimetres. Right, so there we've got our last piece. Now to glue this on, I would do exactly the same. You can do it to the edge of the fold. You can see here that it just needs a tiny little bit cutting off there, but you want to do it to the edge, the outside edge. So I'm just going to take that little slither off there. And this is easier to do when you've got the card all put together. And again, make your marks as to where you need the glue. To go there. Add your glue. we can add the front to the card. Now these cards are really nice for special occasions. Once you get into them and you start making them, then they do come up so quickly, they really do. Right, and there we have the finished card. You just have to bend it about a little bit to get it straight, and then you can add all of your embellishments. So all I did with my original one was, in the first set you've got these sentiment discs here, and that's what I've used on the corner here, but there's nothing to stop you putting it in here or on one of the layers, and then depending what occasion it's for, you can add whatever you like on top of it to personalise it for the person that you're giving it to. I always find a little bit of the Jelly Roll sparkle pen adds a bit of glitter and glamour to the card, and of course the glosses. So I think that is it. Oh, just one more tip for you, because I know we cut off little slithers here and there. When we were cutting the shapes here, you get unusual shapes left. So all I've done is cut a piece of card, and you can put them on the top and the bottom, and you can add whatever you like in the middle there. Or, and I know some people will think this is tedious, but you've got these small pieces, and all I tend to do is piece them onto a piece of card, just put glue onto the back of them and alternate them. Here's one that I've done diagonally, cut into a circle, circle cut out. So you also don't need to waste all these little pieces either. And the embellishments I've just taken from the star dies. So this is one that's been cut on silver card and I've backed in black. This one I cut to silver and I put black card on top of it, and all the individual little stars that come out of it, you can use these to decorate as well. There's one that I've cut out of that one there, and you get a little star out of there. So the little stars that come out are what I've used to decorate the sides. So you can utilise both the outside and the inside shape. There's another one. And the circle that I've used to put the 50 on is from the same set of stamps, and then you've got the numbers on the opposite set. So there you go. Plenty of food for thought. Go away and play, and I look forward to seeing what you create. Don't forget Hazel at 2 o'clock for that stamp storage. Lovely. Thank you very much. Thank you, Hazel. Bye, everybody.